Hi, Leo. I know you guys have decisions to make. I know you've been waiting. I couldn't do the reading until I was organized, and I didn't understand why. I just kept cleaning up, organizing, cleaning up, organizing, semi-decorating even. Got on a really good schedule, taking my vitamins, working out, like everything. And then I realized, like, okay, I'm not actually avoiding doing the Leo reading. I need to get all the way in this energy before I can do it. And I understand why. Because you're going to have to deliver on things you say you can do. And so you need to get in the habit of doing those things. The Hermit, the King of Swords, and the Three of Swords. You're also revisiting some past stuff. You're revisiting a few experiences you've had from last year, like late last year. And you're just thinking things through emotionally. There's a lot going on emotionally for you guys this month. The bottom of the deck, the Ten of Cups and the High Priestess will take it. There's so much good relationship luck here, but it has a lot to do with you like re-examining and going over Ten of Cups and Ten of Swords. So let's take both, and the Hanged Man, and then the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, this reading is doing itself. Okay. You get to see why the hangups were where they were. You get to see, if you take this removed perspective for the first part of the month, you get to see how the stuff that happened like late last year, November, December, is actually, as painful as it was, or confusing or whatever, it actually gives you a lot of insight now that was lost on you then. Then you were like, what? Like, how does this even make sense? Like, how are you trying to convince me? How are you trying to convince me that you're not what I know you are? Like, I know what you're doing. Like, but now you're like, oh, that's why that happened. I see. You have this really, introspective month in some ways. The Hermit, the High Priestess. But it's good for you to be introspective and really get all your ducks in a row. I'm serious. If you take nothing else away from this reading, that Ten of Cups, Ten of Swords, and Ten of Pentacles, you know what this is? This is a change of state. You're going through several changes when it comes to love life, when it comes to money, and they're going to come fast. So what you need to do is find where you're stuck. Is it your look? Do you need a new look? Is it the people you're hanging out with? I know that's sensitive for Leos. You have friends for life. I get it. But are you hanging out with the right people? And by right people, I mean people who are good for you. Have you turned down something that you knew was financially lucrative, but you thought maybe you couldn't follow through with it? Or did you follow through with it and take the situation on, and then by mid-April you're like, oh God, maybe I shouldn't have? Okay, yes, you should have. It's all good, but whatever you have taken on, whatever you've promised, whatever you think you can accomplish, now you need to get in a zone where when at the end of the month you're asked to deliver on that, you're like, yeah, no problem. I can do this. Okay. Two of Pentacles. So for me, the Hangman and the Two of Pentacles is really similar here. It's someone who's afraid of success. And I know we talk about that a lot, but the opportunities you have coming in now, it's undeniable to everyone around you. If you're not taking them, that you're just scared. And if you have taken them, you're like, okay, this is why I was scared. This is why I didn't want to do this, because I don't know if I can actually pull this off. You can pull it off. You will pull it off, inshallah. Everything will be great. It will be really, really good for you. But if you think that just because you've decided to take the plunge, or you've decided to be gutsy and change your state, change your situation, that it's going to be smooth, would you like it to be smooth? Yes, of course. We would all like for our glow ups, our level ups to be without bumps and bruises. Is that usually the case? No, we know that. So where are the pitfalls? Your pitfalls this month are your own inability to change. If you tap into that fixed energy and you want everyone else to change except you, you're gonna have a very frustrating month. Could you substitute that word for painful? If you keep it up, that's the wind. If you keep it up, you know, like the fire is trying. You see that? It's trying. It's like, it needs air, but it also, there's a, you're not given the room to be stubborn. You have to look internally this month to see how the things you're changing and how taking on perhaps a little bit more than you can chew is what you need right now. And why do you need it? Well, because you've been stuck in some ways for a while. And if you have trouble going on at home, God forbid, if you have trouble with your love life, with your family situation, it's coming across very clear here. If you're worried about money, I wouldn't. Because although right now it seems like, whoa, what are we going to do? The money situation is going to clear up. Actually, coming out of this retrograde, you're going to see the money situation clear up quite a bit. So I wouldn't worry about that. What is concerning, though, is when you get into this mode of thinking about what happened last year so you can move forward with this year, so you can either meet someone new, spark something up again, whatever it is, thinking about the past and thinking about what has been is not a license to go there. It's you're being asked to examine it, not relive it. And when you examine it, what we're looking for here is very specifically how to keep ourselves here and never go back into this. Right? So it's very positive. So getting stuck in the sadness of it because it's hearkening back to a time that perhaps was painful for you, don't get stuck there. It's like watching, like in The Office, when Pam is pregnant, she watches this same dog commercial over and over again. She cries over and over again. And Jim's like, why are you watching that commercial if it makes you cry? And she's like, everything makes me cry. Why can't I watch it then? Don't do that. Not everything is going to make you cry. Not everything is horrible. But there are things that need to be looked at, that need to be discussed, that need to be certain things that need to be triggered in you, but not the ones that you think. They can't see you over here. You can go. Oh, it's okay. No. Okay. So, the other thing here is that if there is a reemergence of somebody or a situation, a work situation, a boss situation from the past where you feel like you've really, been victorious in terms of getting this person out of your life, moving on, whatever it is, you may find that you still have a little talking to do there, a little connecting to do, even if it's just within yourself. It is something that, it is something that needs to be addressed again. But I think the way they're going to come back at you is like, hey, you want to get back into something? No, you don't. Especially because your professional life is not only about to clear up, but it's about to clear up in a way that could be very, very, very good for you. If you're going back and forth in your mind about an earth sign and about what you want to do with that earth sign, I feel like you already know what you should do. I feel like the reason they even came up as the Knight of Pentacles is because we know what kind of energy you were dealing with. But the most telling thing here is the Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Wands. You can have all the good luck in the world, but if you don't know how to pick the people you're around, it's not going to matter much. You could have all the money in the world, you can have all the friends in the world, you can have all the popularity in the world, you can have all the beauty in the world, but if you don't know how to choose who gets to be around you, it doesn't matter, because they'll make your life a living hell. And I think you know that. And I think that this is becoming more and more clear to you. Ironically, for some of you who may be way too old to hear this and may feel like I'm condescending, Leo's growing up a little bit. Your emotional intelligence is increasing, and it has a lot to do with, just having to reassess. There are things that happen in November and December that you definitely let go, that you were like, okay, well, that's just what it is, and so what? Like, I'm resilient. I'll move on. I'll get over it. But this Virgo and this air sign card right at the beginning is like, go internal, but you want to speak. And the things you want to say are super, super harsh. So you need to be careful. Also, if you're dealing with a Virgo Libra cusp, that person has hurt you super intensely. Like, they broke your heart. Leo rising too. Leo rising, they broke your heart. Leo sun, they broke your heart. Leo moon, you want to kill them. Gotcha. So that situation with the Three of Swords there pulls you all the way back into, you know what? I don't want anything right now with anybody, for anybody. I really need to think about this. I need to think about my life, my family, my future family, my whatever kind of family I'm looking for, whatever kind of love situation I'm looking for is very heart-centered. And the High Priestess energy pulls you back into that space because it's like, we need to keep focused on what's important, right? And what's important is the way you feel about your family, your money situation, and also mitigating whatever hurt you may feel. Unfortunately, if you are dealing with this Virgo Libra cusp or an air sign or a Virgo that very recently from November until now has like truly, truly hurt you, I feel like that pain's going to stick around for a while. And in the midst of all that, there is this earth sign who's like, hey, hi, I'm kind of always keeping you guessing if you're the one I really want, but hi. And you're like, okay, but like, this is really not cool. You know, like, you're finding your footing. You're finding your courage to be like, hey, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I want things to be like this. What's going to happen from that is Five of Wands. Whenever Leo says, I want things to be this way, instead of saying, oh, sure, that's what you want, cool, let's try to make it happen. Whenever Leo does their own thing, goes rogue, as a lot of people like to call it when Leos do it, because you are a pack animal. So anytime you feel like doing your own thing, anytime you feel like being super independent, everybody who kind of implies that you're needy all of a sudden has a problem. The same people who are like, oh my God, she's like calling me all the time or whatever, are the same people like, whoa, I never heard from her again. But because you misjudged that person, because you thought that person was needy just because they like being around a group of people, not realizing that they were feeding all of you. They're not needy. They have like Leos have so much to give. They need to be around people like a battery to give energy off to, or they'll, you know. So no, if anything, people who are around Leos get hella needy. And then when the Leo retreats and is like, I need my time and my space, because the things, the little fires that are popping off all around me, like, you guys are doers, so you need to know what to do. And you can't know what to do until you think it through. And you can't think it through when you're in the midst of all this sadness and misery. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though you may be feeling, even if it's stuff coming up from the past, and if you're like, I have no hurt in my life, I'm doing just fine. Okay, so if you're not walking around emotionally messed up about somebody who super hurt you, like out of nowhere, where you were just like, and if you're not walking around thinking about last November and December when this Three of Swords moment was really heavy for you, then what I would say is use the beginning of April to just make a quick list of the things that you have told people in positions of power that you can get done. If you have told them you can get it done, you need to start working on whatever it is, so what you said is true later. In terms of a relationship, if you're with a Virgo or a air sign, very much coming up like a Libra here, if you are dealing with this person and this person has pulled back from you, you may also be hurting, because Leos like to play this game where they're like, I really want this person, but I don't want them to know. So even though inside I'm like sprung and really thirsty, I'm just not going to say anything. And it usually works out really well. In this situation, what's happened is it feels like that person is playing the same game with you. Super frustrating. Super frustrating. What we need is a high level of preparedness, so the fire doesn't go out. You see? It's all about keeping this fire lit, and you have cardinal energy to make that happen. Now you just need to implement it. And implementing it means letting certain things go, not being jealous of certain things. Kind of, the high priestess is ignoring the bullshit. The high priestess is like, yeah, see, that's why I'm sitting behind the pillars. Like, I really don't care what you're talking about right now. Like, this is not bothering me. This is not messing with me. I'm basically gonna act like you don't exist. Cool. And that's what you need to do for the sake of you and yours, right? Now, if you feel like there's been a big betrayal or painful situation in your family or extended family, between you and your siblings, between you and your partner, between you and your kids, you may feel like you are at a dead end and there's nothing that can be done about the situation. You're gonna have to decide which situations you actually want to address and which are too stupid to address at this point. You have real people that want to talk to you about real things. You have real things that happened between you and people a few months ago that you want to revisit, like 6 months ago, that you want to revisit and think about. What you don't need is somebody who's basically playing with you to just do this back and forth with you long enough so they, are able to charm their way back into your life. But it looks here, 7 of Wands, like you prevail, even though, they're throwing their best game at you. You can see through it and you can see that it's not what you want. And you're also very assured by the 3rd week of April of your financial success. So that's a boost, you're like, man, I don't need you. However, there is the chance here of some miscommunication, some conflict, being blamed for some stuff. If you don't get your ducks in a row and get really organized and get really disciplined, by the end of the month, it might turn into a humiliating situation if you've already promised people that you can do things that you can't deliver on. So in a lot of ways, to you in Cancer, I say the same thing. Don't write checks your pride can't, don't let your pride write checks your body can't cash. Okay? Now, if you're thinking, I don't want to think about what happened before. Why do you keep mentioning what happened in November? Because it's going to be on your mind. So we have to address it. If we don't address it in the middle of the month, you're going to be like thinking about things. You're going to be like, why am I even thinking about this? Maybe I should call this person, or maybe there's a chance between me and this person. No, that's not why we're revisiting it. It's about you. I said this to you at the beginning of the year. This is another new year. Happy New Year. But in the January videos, I told you that there was a time coming now where you have to honestly, authentically make this about you. And not the way people think you make it about you, like, oh, everything's about a Leo because I'm a Leo, I'm the sun, but not like that. But like, in here, what's going on, the part of you that you don't share with anybody, that's the part of you that smacks you in the face this month. It's like, okay, you don't want to show me to anybody else, but I need to talk to you because we have things we need to talk about. Like, what's going on here? Like, what happened back then? Or why did this happen the way it did? Or what could I have done better? Or what did I do worse? Where was the disconnect? If you focus there without getting mired in sadness, you will see very quickly where things need to change. But you'll also see where you didn't do anything wrong. And you'll also see where, the part of the lesson that Leo learns this month is that people make mistakes and people do what they do really not because of you. And I know that's annoying to you because people probably tell you all the time, like, oh, it's not because of you. It's not because of you. Stop thinking it's your... But in this situation, I'm not trying to shade you. I really mean that you walk out of April thinking like, that really didn't have anything to do with me. Like, I really did genuinely do everything I could for that person in that situation, whatever it was. I genuinely did what I could. And you walk away from April feeling really good about it, even though people are, nipping at your heels and people want to start a little drama with you, especially that Mars and Gemini wants to start drama. Not Geminis in general, Mars and Gemini, just people want to start drama with you, especially in the work situation. They want you to show them and live up to what you said you're going to do. Maybe you rubbed them the wrong way when you said you were going to do it. People get rubbed the wrong way by people who just being enthusiastic about their own level of efficiency, of their own, of their ability to bring things to fruition. Like, why would you be mad at a Leo for saying, like, yeah, I can do that? Like, you're mad because they have high self-esteem? I'm confused. But all those people are looking for you now to be like, oh, you said you could do that. Can you do it? Do it then. Show me. I want to see. And you have to be prepared to be like, strong heart. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll show you. What does that mean? That means now get your paperwork organized. Now get your workout routine like on point. Get your eating habits right. Go to sleep on time. Go to sleep earlier. Bathe more. You know, get into some like serious self-practice for the next 30 days. A self-care practice for the next 30 days, because it's going to bolster you through the moments where people are coming at you sideways and you won't cave in. Strong heart. Strong heart. Okay, let's look at these. Love you, Leo. I'll be right back. Hey. Hey, Leo. So I actually did that first part of the reading. Sorry. So, I actually did the first part of the reading a couple of days ago, but I like to put them out in a certain order. I did the reading 3 days ago, but there was just something about it that was unsettling, a little bit painful. It kind of got under my skin. So I decided to leave it for a second, you know, do Aquarius, clear my palate. So let's get back to it. And if you're wondering why I'm upset, I'm so sorry. I really just want to put the reading out, but I'm so early this morning, late last night, depending on where you are in the world. On April 1st, Nipsey Hussle was killed in LA. He's a Leo. And I like to watch the first part of the reading again before I do the second part, just to, because when I'm in the moment doing the reading, I don't always catch everything that I'm saying. So I go back and rewatch them like you watch them. And I think what got me emotional is just that fire going out. I'm so sorry. This has never happened before, and it's strange that it's happening for a Leo reading. You would think it would be like the Cancer or something, right? So, rest in peace, Nips. Okay, let's get to it. So, the Hermit. Let's go through them again, right? One by one, the Hermit. It's about going internal and needing to, because you have to make certain choices based on what you love, what you believe in, and for that you need to get quiet. It's about communicating, but communicating in a way that is not too harsh. What you're communicating about and what you're thinking about, what you have to go internal about, is something, it has to do with something that you went through probably about a year ago, maybe less. Something that probably had to do with an air sign or someone who's being really finicky. And why that happened, because regardless of when it was, it's something that stuck to you. It, you know, it hurt you. It left its mark on you. Several. And so this going internal about it, you know, it's being, you're between these two, the male and female introspective, getting back behind the duality, right? The truth is the non-dual. The lamp that he holds is the knowledge of the non-dual. Behind the dual is the Tao. The Tao is behind the black and white. The Tao is the understanding that both are necessary, right? So you are asked to go into this philosophical doorway here. And it has to do with your mind, and it has to do with your pain. You know, and you were asked to really probe now. What is it that this brought you? Because it's the universe is begging the question, what have you learned? Right? What have you learned? And why did you need to learn it? Boom, 10 of Cups. For your family. For your family. So 10 of Cups here after the High Priestess and the Hermit is about the rewards that come after. After your introspection, there is a joy, right? Good. So, I don't know why the computer is revving so fast, actually, or why it's made. It's the same thing that was going on in the Aquarian reading. I think it's just a lot of energy, yeah? And we're still in the shadow, so, okay, of the retrograde, right? Knight of Pentacles. The slow move, the slow decision, the slow person in the relationship, the slow money to come in. And what is keeping it slow? What's keeping it here? What's keeping it away from you? Your indecision. Your fear, your inability to perhaps discern what is asked from you here, right? But don't worry, because it will be overcome, and good fortune will find you, extremely good fortune, and it may be through violent means. But the change of state here has to do with how you proceed. The Wheel of Fortune promises you this 10 of Pentacles, but you can, if you will, keep yourself back. But remember, even if you keep yourself back, you are still illuminated. You are learning something still and always. So there's no shame in it. There's no judgment. If you're not ready for the success, well, then you're not ready. But you ever watch a cat hesitate for so long that you're like, you're the queen of all predators. Just jump, you know, but they won't jump. That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. But jump you must. And I'm sorry if I ended up being this deliverer of bad news. But it's not bad news for everyone. You can reach this in many ways. And the point of it all, the change of state, is to begin again. The circle turns eternally. And so, even if it comes through some tower moments, know that you will be okay. Just need to begin again. Okay, Leo. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't really have an end to that apology. But I love you. And rest in peace, Nipsey. You're a hero, man.